Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, we are going to deep dive into Java arrays, an essential topic for any Java developer. We'll cover everything from basics to advanced manipulation techniques. So by the end of this tutorial, you will be a Java array expert. So we're going to see what is array and what all operations we can perform on the array and how we can iterate an array and how we can create a multi-dimensional array and we can manipulate that and what are the best practices and we should do when you are working with arrays. Come, let's go into the video. Before we go into the video, let's understand what is an array. It's a data structure that allows you to store a collection of elements of same data type in a single variable. So let's say I want to create an integer array. We can store all integer values into the memory block. So let's consider that we want to create an integer array. Int numbers, I'm going to create a integer array of then 7. So if you look at the right side, so this is how it's going to be in the memory. So it's going to allocate you a continuous memory blocks of 7 memory blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? And the index is going to start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there are 7 elements. So if you consider that the first memory block is 100 and it's gonna end with 107, 106, right? 106. So it's gonna be 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, and 106. This is how it's gonna be. And as it is an integer array, so it's going to be defaulted to 0 and all the memory blocks, right? And if it is in string, it's going to be null, but as it is an integer, it's going to be default to zeros. So this is how the arrays will be initiated. So we can create a similar to this, we can create a double array. It's all going to be the same syntax. Double numbers, double. Let's say I'm creating this with 4. I just want 4 values to be stored in this array, right? And so similarly, you can create string. Let's move on to the next topic. So this is how you initialize an array, and you can also initialize in different way. Like let's assume that I'm going to create same. Let's say I'm going to initialize with values. Let me say default numbers array. So I'm going to do it like this. I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this also going to create the similar structure. So in this case, what's going to happen is it's going to create 5 memory blocks, right, for you. And then let me say 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this case, you're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So similar index 0, it will start with 0 and it ends 4. Okay, this is how it's going to be. So this is a different way of initializing an array. Let's move on to the next topic, array operations. Let's say I want to access the first element of an array. So what we have to do is we have to refer the first element, right? So we have to just refer the first index of the array. So what I'm going to do is it's going to be an integer. Let's say int. I'm going to say first default number. It's going to be default number array of 0. So let me print this. If I execute this, if you look at here, the output says 1. So this is getting accessed. So this index is accessed, right? And let's say if we want to access the fourth element, right, that's the last one, fourth index, that's going to be the last one. Just have to update the index to 4. Run this to get the fourth index. Fourth index is nothing but the 5. It's here. So this is how you will access the data from the array. Let's modify the element. So here is how you will modify an element. So let's say I don't want 3 here. Instead of 3, I want, let's say 6. So this is going to be 1 and the second index of the array, right? So what I'm going to do is just going to say default numbers array of index 2 is going to be 6. So if you print that particular index, let's say let me print that one here, before and after. Yep, if you look at here, the index has been updated. The second index has been updated from 3 to 6. So at this point it will be 6 here, right? So this is how you will modify an element inside the array. So let's see how we can find out the length of an array. So to find out the length of an array, you can do the array variable dot length, right? So what I'm going to do is length default number array dot length, right? So this is going to give you the length of the array. So now so if you look at here, the length of the array is 5, right? So it is 0, so the index is 0 to 4, the length of the array is 5. So this is how you can find out the length of the array, so which will help you to iterate the array. So that's what we're going to see next. So let's go into the array iteration. So let's say I want to print all the elements from the default array. So how we can do it? So let me do it through a for loop now, and then show you how you can do it. So let me take for int index equal to 0, index less than default array dot length, and index plus plus. So we're going to iterate until the end of the array, and we're going to print the value, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print out the index and the value. Index, so index is going to be index, and value is going to be the default numbers array of index. So this is going to print the index and the value. So let me run this. So it's going to iterate from 0 to the 4, the index, and then print all the values. So if you look at here, so it is printing all the values for you. So this is how you'll iterate. So this is how you will iterate with the for loop. And you can also use enhanced for loop for this, and instead of using if you don't want to do in this way, you can also do like this: number of default numbers array, and it's gonna be doing the same thing, right? And I'm gonna just print the number here, a value. I'm just gonna print the number. So this is going to give you the numbers inside the default number array. So if you look at here, we got the same result. So in this case, we're not printing the index, we're just printing the value. So let's see how we can do it through a while loop. So while, let's say let me declare this index before it so that we can make use of it. So we're going to start from index 0. So index less than default array dot length. So we're going to use that default array dot length. So what you do, print the same. So I'm going to do this one, print it, and then I'm going to increase this inside the for loop, so inside the while loop. So I'm going to make this as while loop, and this is going to print you the same thing again. There you go. So we looked into three different loops. One is for loop and one is enhanced for loop, and this is how you can print that in the while loop, right? So now let's move into creating a two-dimensional array. So let's move into a more advanced topic. Let's talk about multi-dimensional array. Let me comment out. So let all be there. So let me create this one, multi-dimensional arrays. Okay, so this is going to be dimensional, right? And how you will create it. So similar way how we created or we initialize the single dimensional array. So we are going to create int. So there will be 2D. This is a 2D array. So I've given two array brackets, and then let me say let's see 2D, and I'm going to create a 3 by 3 array, right? So it's going to be, so in memory how it's going to be, right? Let me show you how it's going to be in a memory. 3 by 3. So this is going to be still the same, a 0, 1 and 2 index, and you can also refer this columns like 0, 1 and 2, right? So this is a 3 by 3 array. Okay, so let me go ahead and um, insert values inside the array, right? Let me say two-dimensional array. So currently it will be 0 in all the places as it is an integer array. I'm going to insert a value at 0 of 0. 0 of 0 equal to 1, right? So what will happen is 0 of 0 is this one, so you will be having 1 here. See how we can iterate this two-dimensional array using for loop, right? So there are two layers. Let's consider one is int row index equals 0, and row index is less than two-dimensional array dot length, right? And row index plus plus. So it is going to iterate through the rows 1, 2, 3, and we are going to do one more for loop, which is going to go at the column level. Column equal to 0, column, okay, it should be column index, 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 column index is less than two-dimensional array of row index dot length. So what it is going to do is it is going to get, sorry, it's going to be replaced with this one, and we're going to increase this with column index plus plus. So the first one will go in this way, and the second one will get the length of the rows, right? So length of the the first row. The length of the first row is 3, so it will be identified in this way. 1, 2, 3. It's going to be 3, so it's going to return that, and it's going to iterate it. So we are going to print both, right? So let me print it. System dot out dot print ln. So what I'm going to print is I'm going to say row index. So you will see how it is getting iterated. Row index is going to be row index, and then column index, and let me leave a space here so that the numbers will be printed accordingly, and the column index is going to be column index, and finally the value inside that, right? So currently we have value only at 0 of 0, so you should see value only uh, at 0 of 0. So I'm going to print two-dimensional array of row index and column index. So let me run this. Yeah, there you go. As told, the row index is 0 of 0 is having the value of 1, and rest all. So if you look at this is 0 and all other places it is 0. So 0 of 1 is 0, 0 of 2 is 0, and 1 of 0 is 0, 1 of 1 is 0. So everything else is 0. So this is how you will iterate a two-dimensional array, right? So that covers the two-dimensional array. So let's move on to array manipulation techniques. Let's say I want to sort this single dimensional array, right? So let me say that at default numbers we have updated this third element to 6, right? So before, so like after this I want to so after this, if you look at here, so it is 1 2 6 4 and 5. So I want to sort this in an ascending order. So what I'll do is I will do arrays. So there is a inbuilt method that will help you to sort default numbers array. So this is going to sort it in ascending order. So let's see how the value is getting printed after this for loop, right? So currently it is printing 1 2 6 5 4 and 5. So after this it should print 1 2 4 5 and 6. So if you look at here, so now it is sorted. So before it is like this, and then after sorting 1 2 4 5 and 6, this is how it's going to work. So let's say you are searching for an element inside the array, right? So you can also use the search algorithms like binary search. So how you will do that, right? So let me do that. So arrays dot binary search. So that is an inbuilt method that we can use to, like, set the default numbers array. Come on, I want to search 5. What is the index of 5, right? So I can go like this. So int um, searched index equals, so it'll use the binary search algorithm to search the number where it exists, and it'll return you the index of it, right? So let me print out this index, searched index. So if I run this, I should see the searched index as 3, right? So it's going to be 3, right? Yeah. So if you look at here, the 5 exists at the third index, 0 1 2 and 3. That's how we can use it. Let's move on to best practices and tips. So whenever you're working on, let's say, on a common programming, it's always better to comment out what you're doing, right? So in this case, if I look at here, so I'm going to create a multidimensional array, just comment that out and then let the team know that you've created this array and what is the purpose of it, and also give a meaningful name on what is the variable is. So the variable name should be a meaningful, and then you should always initialize the array. For tips wise, you can use enhanced for loop for the iteration. So that will be a optimized way of iterating the array instead of creating an index and then going through it. And then pre-allocate array sizes when possible. Check the length of the array and then do the array operation. So let's say here I have 0 1 2 3 4 of the index, and then if I'll do a fifth index, you will be getting array index out of bound exception. So to avoid this, always make sure that you are accessing an index which is less than the length of the array. In that way, you can avoid the index out of bound exception. That's the best practices and tips that you can follow. So in this tutorial, we have covered the fundamentals of an array for declaration to advanced manipulation techniques. I encourage you to practice what you have learned. For more in-depth learning, check considering our tutorials on Java programming on our channel. I'll be going through sorting algorithms from the next videos. So thank you for watching the video, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. So if you found this video helpful, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more Java tutorials. If you have any questions or topics you would like us to cover in future, please leave them in the comment below. Thank you.